stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Big football games.
Go ahead.
we're trying to. My bad. I thought we were gonna bust in with it. We can go ahead and do it now. We can go ahead and do it now.
Yeah. No, I had it, and then it's not. There it is.
Wait. I can hear it.
His knee surgery in St. Louis on Saturday.
Yes.
Picked up by Nick Paul in the corner. Works it up for Chernak. Victor Hedman, wrist shot, knocked down in traffic. A rebound, Paul, and Allen got a piece. And Dvorak trying to clear, and he will clear it out of the front of the net.
What are we listening to, bro?
It's not.
Start over. There it is. We're talking about knee surgeries. I don't know what the hell's going on. Anyway, let's get it going this morning as we celebrate a big Bolts win last night. Not a bad road trip where they get 5 points on the road trip. Not too shabby, but that overtime loss to Toronto is going to stick in their craw a little bit. And you know what? That's a good thing. That's an absolute good thing. So we're going to talk some Bolts this morning. We're also going to get into the Buccaneers. Is it times for some very bold change, Peter? And I do mean bold change for the Buccaneers. Yeah. I don't know how you not – I'm trying not to overreact to one game. But we'll get into that. So we'll talk to Corey Long at 11:30. We're going to do some FSU Miami preview. And I am so psyched going up to that game this weekend. Weather's going to be great. And we'll get into the Michigan thing. That may break this morning as we are on the air. Some discipline for Harbaugh. Not sure if there's going to be anything as far as vacating wins, but we shall see. There's a lot of debate on this. So we'll get into that with Corey Long as well, who laughed it off last week. He laughed it off. He'll probably laugh it off again today. But is it more serious than that? I'm kind of vacillating back and forth. So we'll get into all that. Lots to get to today on this 2-hour Tampa Bay-centric, wonderful sports program we try to bring you each and every day. And say good morning to you, Peter Blake. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, buddy. I thought I could pull that off, and it didn't necessarily come off as well as I wanted to because YouTube has commercials, so it wasn't playing. So I was like,
oh my
okay, gotta love that. And it wouldn't download. But yeah, good morning to you. We didn't get a chance to talk about the Bucs, and I was out there at Riveters trying to cover the game, and
yeah, how'd that go? You did a post-game show over there at Riveters.
Well, I tried to. No, I didn't do a post-game because here's the thing. I did a halftime show, and they were playing Michael Jackson and Prince in the background. And, of course, Facebook doesn't necessarily like that. So they actually restricted me until today. So I couldn't do a post-game. Yeah, that's the world we live in. You can't play
Michael background music
because of
your show?
Because of I didn't even play the music. And then all of a sudden – I have a halftime show. I have fans and back of me, and they shut the show down and they restricted me until Wednesday. So
that's weird.
It's social media, man. It is so difficult sometimes. It's so like you try to figure it out, and it's just ridiculous. Yeah. So YouTube didn't flag it. The other platforms didn't flag it, but Facebook did, and who knows? Maybe it was a good thing because
I don't know. I think you'd have had a damn big audience, bro.
Oh, well, it's been a great audience, but I tell you right now, being out there when the Bucs score, everybody's excited, and then 46 seconds later, 46 seconds, it took a rookie quarterback to have
one hell of a rookie quarterback, by the way. Yeah, one hell of a rookie quarterback. What was the mood in Riveters when, of course, Baker Mayfield to Kate Otten? What a great throw. What a great play. What a great drive by Baker Mayfield. It's kind of gotten, that should have been the narrative all week long. What a great fourth quarter comeback. They get a little lucky there on the fumble, right? Goes right to Evans. Terrible clock management the whole night, like running the ball the first 2 times, not calling a timeout before no urgency, can't do a 2-minute, but somehow Baker Mayfield wills you into the end zone, K-Dot, and so everybody's going bananas, right? Everybody's going bananas.
Yeah. Everybody's going crazy. Like, we got to win. We're getting ready to celebrate. I'm getting ready to, try to do a post-game show. And then all of a sudden, not only do I find out that I'm restricted, but also I find out that the Bucs defense once again has coverage breakdowns, whether it's Ryan Neal, whether it's D. Delaney, whether it's not
that last drive is well, I don't want to absolve the players, but that's just almost 100% on the coach. It's just terrible.
Didn't it remind you of something? Didn't it remind you of the Rams game?
Absolutely, 100%. Well, actually, not as much, because the Rams actually had a Pro Bowl quarterback and a Super Bowl team,
right?
And were the best receiver in the game. The Houston Texans didn't have any of that. Although I think CJ Stroud, and as I was just remarking to you before the show started, thank God for the Panthers that they took Bryce Young instead of CJ Stroud, because that dude is going to be a witch in this league, I think, for 10 years to come. I think he can throw the dadgum football. He understands anticipation. He understands how to carve up zone defense, and that they play the same way every single time. And everybody lines up and is like the worst attempt, the most safe coverage I think I've ever seen in NFL football. I mean, I've never seen a coach turtle like that. Just rush 4 when you admittedly can't get any pressure with 4. That. You admitted that. So you're going to do that anyway. Drop everybody 15 yards back, reroute nobody at the line of scrimmage. Just literally give them 15 yards on every play and right down the field.
Yeah.
It just doesn't get any easier. And so you lose a game that you never should have lost. But that's where the Bucs are right now. So what was the mood after Houston scores?
I think every Bucs fan at that point got out of there. I mean, it went from all kinds of Bucs fans celebrating to everybody saying, "The hell with this, we're going home." I mean, people were slamming things. You had a DJ out there. He started to. It was like, back it up, everything, get out of here, everybody pack up. I'm sitting there like, am I gonna go live or not? And then Facebook's like, well, you can't go live. So I'm like,
can't go live anymore.
The hell with this.
With the DJ's like, hey, don't leave. We still have a party. We still want to make some more money. Post-game party. And everybody's like, piss off.
Right, piss off. They're like, turn on the Cowboy game at that point, the Cowboy-Philadelphia game. We had some Vikings fans in the house. Yeah. So, of course, they were happy with – and you put this in perspective, right? Talking about the Vikings. They trade for Josh Dobbs. Dobbs comes in. Doesn't even know the players, doesn't even know the scheme, doesn't even know the whole playbook. He comes in there and and how bad are the freaking Atlanta Falcons, which, by the way, just a couple of weeks ago, the Bucs had a chance to win that game. Nope, didn't win that game either. But how bad are the Falcons to lose to somebody who just got traded to the Minnesota Vikings? I mean, how bad?
Well, it's interesting when teams actually want to score. It's interesting what they can do. When they have to score. I think a lot of the scoring is down this league because coaches are cowards. Right. And they're so terrified of the turnover that they won't let their quarterback play, guys play in handcuffs. I think that was part of Baker's problem during this losing streak, and has been, up till the other day, is he's just so terrified of throwing a pick because he's playing for a defensive coach that's not going to give him any opportunities. Yeah. I mean, won't use the timeouts to get an extra possession at the end of the half, takes him to the freaking half every freaking game. Unbelievable. Like 1985 coaching, time and time again. And I think it is time for bold change within this organization. The Tom Brady years were great. Jason Light has been fantastic, but I think it's time for new blood. And I think one of our commenters, forget who it was yesterday, mentioned this, because Jason has a great rapport with the Glazers, as does Rondé Barber. Rondé's like a son, or more like a brother, to the Glazers, and they have a great rapport. But Jason has a great rapport with them as well, and I think it's a great working relationship, and I think there's value in that. And Jason brings value in as a team builder, but I think his drafting has been suspect. And I think much like the Falcons did with Rich McKay, where they moved him upstairs into a more 40,000 foot kind of perch and to run the franchise. Maybe that's something that Jason Light would be, might be good at from that standpoint. And bring in some new blood as a general manager, either a Rondé Barber or a Derek Brooks. I love the John Lynch model. I think that's the best model in sports. I'm not a big fan of, the super scouts, the guys that come up, that were, buddies of the owner, work their way up through scouting and become a GM. I just don't. I think in this day and age that the GM is such a public figure and such a omnipresent part of an organization that it's almost a surrogate head coach, where the players look up to that person like, and respect them. I think in a perfect world, it is a John Lynch situation where these guys like, that dude's got a gold jacket. Okay, he's got a gold jacket. I watched him play. He knows what he's doing. I have faith in him. I have confidence. He knows what I'm going through as a player. He wants to win. He has a track record of wanting to win at all costs. And I see the same thing in a Derek Brooks or a Shelton Quarles, who's been with this organization for a long time, and I don't think has gotten enough run, so to speak, enough power. I think he'd be a great piece as well. Rondé, anybody, I like this former players that know the game and have been around the game and are well respected. And are just not names, not like a Keyshawn Johnson that's just a name with no substance behind it whatsoever.
Sure.
I'm talking about super intelligent guys that, have been in business, know what they're doing and have a passion for this organization, by the way, a passion for the organization. And I think that's something that, all those things that I just mentioned, you don't get in Todd Bowles. You just don't. And Todd is, we can't say it enough what a great dude he is and how much we love him as a person. He's just not a head coach. And this team has no juice, right? This team has no juice. It's emblematic of its coach. It plays with no fire. It plays with no physicality. The coaching is soft in philosophy. The playing is soft in physicality. It's not even fun to watch. They don't execute well. They make mistakes, constant penalties. It's just frustrating to watch. And after, we saw what Bruce Arians brought to this team. He brought accountability. He brought creativity. He brought a passion. He brought fire. He brought, wisdom, all those things. And he brought Tom Brady, by the way, too. So, and all those other things I mentioned bring Tom Brady's. That's why Tom Brady came here. Before he, hated Bruce for not letting him go to Miami. He loved Bruce for what he was as a coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything worked together. They won a Super Bowl together. So I think, the Glazers have to think long and hard about that. This season, I really want to, I'd like to dig in and say, at 3-5, they still have a shot, blah, 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 blah. What's been on tape for so many weeks is so bad. And with this coaching staff, that you're not going to shake up. They're not going to fire Todd Bowles. What hope do you have? What hope do you have? This guy's not suddenly going to become a totally different coach. He needs to, but he's not gonna. And even if he did, it would be inauthentic. The players have already lost, he's already lost the room. Clearly, they're not playing hard for him. Not
the defense. I mean, veterans, that's probably the most disappointing thing. You got Carlton Davis, who said all throughout the offseason, we're going to wreck shit. Excuse my language, but this is how I feel. This is what he said in the offseason. We're going to do this and do that. And he was clearly the worst player on the field on Sunday. How do you allow a Tank Dale? Tank Dale. Who the hell is Tank Dale? Only thing I can think of when I think of Dale is computer.
Yeah.
Tank
he ain't
Dale.
Jamar Chase, I can tell you that.
No. And Jamar Chase is coming out and saying, well, Carlton Davis is the best corner in the league. I guess when he wants to be.
Well, when you're playing 79% zone,
right,
and you're a press man corner, he clearly has checked out, and that's on him. But it's also on the coaching staff. I don't want to absolve Carlton Davis for what he put on tape last week. That's awful. And it's, as a professional, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be. I didn't see the interviews, but probably should be taking accountability for that as well. You give up 3 touchdowns, 1 to a tight end. You've got man-to-man who runs an out route on you at the 5-yard line. That's just embarrassing. You give up the game-winning touchdown, you're not even close to a guy who's already burned you for a touchdown and run by you. You should be just lazy footwork, lazy defense all over the place. You turn on the tape. Guys aren't running to the ball. They don't want contact. They're all making business decisions. They've already checked out. And that's on the coaching staff as well. So I would like to have some hope, but I don't see where that comes from. Do you?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm sitting here trying to be an eternal optimist saying this is going to turn around, but how can it turn around? You just got smoked by a rookie quarterback for 470 yards. Guess what, JP? You got Will Levis, who's had success. You got Derrick Henry. Where's your defense at? And now you finally get your off. And I told you when I had that conversation with Canales that I felt good about it, even though the offense had somewhat of their struggles in that game. They still scored 37
points. Yeah. Second most in the NFL last week.
They had to score 40. You have to score 40 points in order for your team to win. No, you shouldn't have to do that. So it's disappointing. I don't know, how this works out with this team going forward. I would hope that they can turn it around, but what gives me reason to sit here on the JP Peterson show and say, hey, it's going to turn around this week? Because we were saying the same thing against the Atlanta Falcons, and it didn't happen. We were saying the same thing versus the Buffalo Bills, and it didn't happen. We were saying the same thing when with the Houston Texans, and it didn't happen. And the disappointing thing is it's not like this team is talentless because they do have the veterans. They do have a Devin White who's clearly made a business decision. To be fair, he finally got a sack. I mean,
no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Nobody blocked him. He was 1 for 2 on completely unblocked blitzes. So you get no credit for that. You get none in my mind.
Maybe that's where you play him.
I could have sacked that. I could have got that sack.
You could probably pay better coverage than White is. I mean, White is terrible in coverage. You don't have a consistent pass rush. Shaq Barrett shows up a couple times a game. But
I thought Shaq played pretty well. When I went through the tape, he showed up.
Right.
He showed up.
Where's
this week he did. Yeah.
Well, how
JTS.
I mean, it's like Groundhog Day. Like every time.
He's terrible.
JTS, when is he going to step up? Well, he'll step up one of these days, show him flashes.
He's not a quick twitch athlete. He doesn't have the power. He's just a guy. He's just a guy. The fact that he was a first-round pick is an embarrassment. Then
make the changes then. Stop doing the same thing over and over again.
I think it's going to take till week. What are we at? Week 9. Week 9 for Yaya Diaby to start when it was completely obvious he should have started from the very beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Right, week 9 is when he'll probably start this week. They'll finally get it. I mean, how much more tape do you need to see of JTS? How long did it take? It took an injury to Matt Filer to get him out of there. How long is it going to take to get Devin White out of there? And this is why I've been harping on Devin for so long, is because Devin, you put a C on his chest. You put a C on his chest. You let him go out there and do the fire up and do all. And I guarantee you, everybody in that locker room is rolling their eyes. They're rolling their eyes. They know that guy ain't playing. He ain't playing. He ain't trying. He ain't trying like the rest of them are. And when you prop a guy up like that as the coach, everybody sees it. You lose the locker room. And that's exactly what you've seen. That's what you see on tape. These guys aren't focused. They're getting penalties. They're not trying hard. They're not playing their discipline. It's not communication. It's not any of that stuff. They just ain't playing.
No,
because they don't fear the coach. They don't fear any repercussions because Devin White's going to keep playing. JTS is going to keep playing. He's going to keep throwing them out there.
Well, right.
And when I see Servassier Dennis in for Devin White, then I'll pay attention. When I see Yaya Diaby in for JTS, then I'll pay attention. When he starts making, looks like D. Delaney's going to take over for Ryan Neal finally. When I see, Cody Mock's coming along, but still not where he needs to be. Hainsey, it's until we see guys replaced that are playing like crap, then why pay attention? You're not playing to win. You're just playing favorites. I don't know what you're doing.
It's like Groundhog Day. You hear every press conference from Todd Bowles. We have bust. Okay, well then stop with the bust. Stop saying you're going to get it done. Stop saying this and that. Do it. Get it done. Change it up. Again, it reminds me of my sales job during the daytime, which I want to bang my head against the wall watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have people on the phone all the time. I want to save money. Okay, this is the way you save money. This is the way you can do it. And then
we're not talking about that. We've already talked about that a million times.
But listen. This is what the Bucs do. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Same thing over and over again. This is what they're doing. This is what we're going to do. But you never do it. You never do anything different. You never hold anybody accountable. You never hold, like you said, Devin White accountable. You never finally hold Ryan Neal accountable. So until that changes, and let me just throw this out there, because Jason Licht does have a relationship with the Glazers, and everybody wants to, the offensive coordinator, a young guy, because that's where the NFL is going. I told you this a couple of weeks ago. Do not be surprised if they're going to be interested. If Bill Belichick, as a coach, not the general manager, but as a coach, is out there, do you think the Glazers would consider it? Because it is a big name, and they have gone after big names in the past.
I think it would be foolhardy. Why a guy like that do a rebuild? I'm sorry, but his time has passed. I'm sorry. I mean, his time has passed. He's proven without Tom Brady, he's an average coach at best. That's just facts.
All right.
Let's look at the numbers. He's below average, actually. And that's just facts. I have no interest in Bill Belichick, none. And I don't think his time has passed. You need a young, energetic coach to come in here with a great offensive mind. Canales is not ready. He's overwhelmed the way it is right now. You can't put that on him. I think someday he could be a really good head coach. I shouldn't even say it. I don't know that yet. I mean, he's a very charismatic guy. You like that part of it. He brings energy. He brings a lot of positivity. There's definitely signs that guy could be really good, but I'm going to see him coordinate for a whole year and see him go through the ups and downs and see how he handles everything. But there are signs that he can't. He's not ready now. I don't see anybody on this staff that jumps out at me that I say, oh, this is the next, Mike. I don't see a Mike Tomlin. I don't see a Herm Edwards. I don't see any dynamic young or older coaches on this staff that are going to be, great head coaches down the line. So, well, they've got to do an exhaustive search in the offseason. And is Jason Licht going to lead that search? Who's going to lead that search? It's going to be interesting, but I think this team needs bold change. Well, should we even play Todd Bowles today? I mean,
why not? Why? Well, we're gonna hear from. I mean, got all kinds of comments here. A lot of fans.
Yeah, I'll just go to the comments. Yeah. Will Martinez says the body language on his team has been bad. With another loss, it's going to get real ugly. If they get ran at home by another rookie and the Glazers have to make a change, this can't be status quo. Listen, I fully expect Will Levis to come in here and do pretty much what not what CJ Stroud did. He's not going to throw that much because he won't have to, because Derrick Henry is going to run through this defense like a hot knife through butter. Derrick Henry will have about 175 yards rushing. Will Levis will need to throw for about 210, play action the hell out of them for probably 3 touchdowns. Yeah, they're going to score probably 35 points, 30 points against this defense. I don't think that's a stretch. And then, Titans, their defense is not great, but, certainly better than the Houston's that was completely depleted. So I see 35-20 probably Titans winning this game.
I mean, it would just be embarrassing because once again, how many games have the Bucs won at home this year?
Have they won one?
I don't think they have won one.
No, they haven't.
No, actually, they did. They won. They beat Chicago.
That's right.
That was it. Everything else has been embarrassing.
Yeah, been terrible at home.
Embarrassing against the Eagles. Embarrassing against the Falcons to a certain degree. I mean, when does that change? And people want to say, well, the fans are not coming out. They're not going to watch that. They're not going. And, of course, the fans want Todd Bowles fired. We know that the Glazers are not going to do that in the middle of the season. They have never done that, even with the greatness of Greg Schiano. Remember 0-8, and they didn't fire him. They just played it out. They went after Lovie Smith. So it's not going to happen. It's either going to change within, or it's just going to get worse from here.
Yeah. Will brings up a great point here. Levante and Winfield Jr. are the only guys on that defense that seem like they even care. Levante threw his helmet down because he was pissed at the end of the game. Winfield called a meeting before Atlanta. Yeah, you're right. I think that's pretty spot on there. They just there's a lot of guys out there that playing like they just don't care.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question about that. James says Bowles defense can't hide anymore. Early on, everyone said they don't give up a lot of points. Well, now it's over, and your D has moved to the bottom of the NFL. This D has been a fraud since the beginning. James, you were all over that, man, right from the beginning. Mm-hmm. I looked at it and I said, at least they're not allowing points. I still don't like a lot that they put on tape. They couldn't stop the run. That's always a harbinger of things to come. When Philadelphia came in here and ran the football, you were just like, well, most every team will be able to do that in some shape or form. And I think, against the bad teams, they've been okay, but sooner or later you're going to be found out.
Yeah.
Bucs Basement says Bulls press conference sounds like a man that is DOA and he knows that the league is going in an offensive-minded direction. If Jason hires a defensive coach, his ass is fired in the next 2 years. Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I think they always swing the pendulum back and forth. They'll go to a young offensive coach. I don't know who that's going to be. I don't think it'll be Canales, but I think it might be. Who knows?
Johnson from Detroit. That seems
cheap. Yeah.
The popular pick of what he's done with the Lions. And look, you look,
and he's going to be in demand. So why not, fire Bowles now and bring him in?
Yeah, but they're not going to do that. We know that's not what they do. That's not what the Glazers do. They wait to the end of the season. And if it continues, what if, because we're sitting here talking about it, the Bucs are still in the NFC South at this point. They're still in the playoff race. What if somehow they finish off respectable and somehow eke into the playoffs?
It's not going to happen, Peter. It's not going to happen. People keep talking about this. I just
can't see it either. But
unless they can win this division with 6 or 7 wins, which might be possible,
right?
But you still got to beat Atlanta up there. That ain't happening. Still got to beat Carolina twice. They got to beat the Saints here. Every game they're going to be underdogs in every game. If you're an underdog against Houston, you're going to be an underdog almost every single game.
Yeah.
So I don't see it. Until they show me something, show me that you're going to do something different, so that you're going to try different, that you're going to give better effort. We're 8 games in. What's going to change? You're not going to change. If you're not going to change the coach and you're not going to change the players and they're not going to change their scheme because he's stubborn as hell.
Yeah.
What do you expect? It's going to be same crap. And everybody, as the season goes on, his teams always get worse because he doesn't make adjustments or make the right adjustments.
Correct.
So
yeah.
I don't see it getting any better.
I mean, I think there's some positives, right? They scored 37 points. You had White, who was heavily
involved. White was fantastic. Yep.
Evans was involved in this game. How about Anthony Beck's guy, Cade Otton, finally getting some opportunities there, getting a couple of touchdowns. So there are some positives, but all that is thrown by the wayside because of the defensive effort. If you just have an average defense, like we always talk about, great defense, average offense, you win games. You had a good offense last Sunday. If you just have an average defense that can make one stop, and we're talking about a 4-4 team. And maybe, they have their warts because we talked about it all year long with the coaching decisions and everything like that, clock management. I mean, the 10 seconds.
Abysmal.
Hindsight is 20/20, but it just makes sense at that point, right? You got to take the 10-second runoff and keep
and keep the timeout so you can control the clock. When you have no timeouts, you can't control the clock as you can if you have one. You don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, that's just basic. That's basic intelligent coaching, and we don't do that.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to hit the bolts. Big win last night in Montreal. What did we learn about this team on the road trip? Some interesting stuff. Boy, they can score. They can score in the first period. Holy hell. Getting off to some great starts. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. If you've been involved in an accident, Scott Jeeves is the man. He is he's not like one of these big law firms, folks, that you're just a number. He is a guy in the community, lives here, lives in Hillsborough County, has an office in St. Petersburg, an office in Tampa, is heavily involved in the community. He's a local guy, not some faceless billboard, folks. Go with the local folks who know the landscape of the judges around here. That's important, and that is Scott Jeeves, JEEVES lawgroup.com. All right, back in 3 with some Bolts talk. Stay with us. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000
on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
So you're experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had. It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Hey, the holidays are almost here, so take advantage of our layaway offer at the Gold and Diamond Source. Reserve your favorite piece now and pay in easy installments, making your holiday shopping stress-free. And engagement season is here as well, and we've got the largest selection of engagement rings, so visit us to find that perfect ring for that special moment. Looking for financing options? How big a ring can you get when we give you 3 to 5 years interest-free financing to make your dream jewelry more affordable? So this November, make sure you choose the Gold and Diamond Source for jewelry that's always stylish and unique, because your special someone deserves something to be thankful for, right? Find the perfect gift at the Gold and Diamond Source. Don't settle for factory-made imitations, folks. Make sure it's a Gold and Diamond Source diamond for a truly special piece of jewelry. It's the best folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source, 4800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, along with the great Peter Blake, as we roll through this hump day morning here for you, getting set for a big weekend of college football as well. FSU and Miami coming up. Cannot wait for that, Peter. I'll be traveling up Saturday morning with my son and the lovely Ashley.
I got to play it.
Let's do it.
Here it is. Hopefully not too loud.
Let's freaking go.
Love it.
FSU, by the way, number 4 in the poll last night, the college football playoff poll. My good buddy Boo Corrigan, who I used to hang out with many, many years ago when he was working at Florida State as an associate athletic director in administration. I think it was one of his first jobs in his career. He was at FSU, and we used to have a couple of pops after the games every now and then. He was talking about the Noles last night, looking at their win over Clemson, over Duke, over LSU, obviously. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say FSU has the best resume. They don't. And when the season is over, they will probably have had, a one-ranked team. I think Clemson may have been 25th when they played them, but they continue to lose. So that doesn't look as good. The Gators continue to lose. That even if they beat the Gators, which obviously, if FSU has a loss, they're out. That's as simple as that. And don't complain, FSU fans, if you do. Because Ohio State's going to, they're going to start playing teams. Michigan has Penn State this week. They're finally going to play a game 9 weeks into the season. That's nice of them. They're very busy at Michigan, by the way. But if FSU will play Louisville in the ACC championship game, who's ranked 11th right now, they're a pretty good football team. Jeff Brom's got them rolling, so they'll probably be in the top 10 if they continue to win. So it's up to FSU. It's in their hands. They just they got to win out. They get one loss, they'll be, a host of 10 teams probably with one loss. So, and I'm not going to complain if they don't get in at that point. We'll see what the resumes are. But, in Washington, as good as they are and they're flashing, they put up big points, their defense is horrible. You cannot, people are like, Washington should be ahead of FSU. Washington defense is 120th. 120th. I mean, come on now. I get it. Penix is fantastic. Their offense is explosive, but your defense is straight crap. I mean, FSU's defense has improved dramatically. I believe they're in the top 20 in defensive efficiency. So, yeah, you can't. Sorry, Washington. And they've got some games ahead of them. They're going to probably play Oregon again in the Pac-12 championship.
What defense is worse, Washington, USC,
or the Bucs?
The Bucs, or the Colorado Buffaloes?
All terrible. All terrible. And, I hate to tell you, but, there's two sides of the football, and both have to be considered if we're going to rank teams. So, yeah.
Right.
We'll get into a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. What did you think of Caleb Williams at the end of the game?
I'm sorry. Hey, look, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. I know I'm old school. I'm an old head, but you can't go crying to your mom in the stands, bro. That's not leadership. That's not, everybody's got to be in touch with their emotions, right? But I'm sorry. If you're ruled by your emotions, you're not a good leader. You're not. You're just not. Because, I mean, imagine on a battlefield, you get your feelings hurt a little bit. You're gonna go run crying to your mommy. I mean, I know that's a way different analogy, but it's just in terms of, football is a very physical and physically, emotionally demanding game. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have the emotional toughness to handle losses and adversity within a game or after a game, I can't look at my leader of my football team running to his mother, jumping up in the stands and crying. And I know there are people all over the media that are lauding this. Oh, that's so brave. No, it's not brave. It's not brave. Shut up. It's not brave. Look, I get it, mental health, all that stuff. I refuse to buy into that crap. No way. Him going into and mental health, I get that, all that. But you cannot, as a leader, be so emotional that you display that in front of the world. I'm sorry. Because if you're ruled by your emotions, you can't make rational, good decisions as a leader. You can't. I mean, you get here. We talk about this all the time in a football game. If adversity happens, you have to, are you going to run up in the stands and cry to your mom? No, you pick yourself up, you get back in there and you run another play.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can't get in there.
Well, and I'll tell you this right now. I mean, what shows you who's the franchise quarterback? Is it going through adverse situations? So the first adverse situation he goes with, because he's going to go to a bad team. He's not going to a good team. He's going to go to a bad team. He's going to either go to the Bears, possibly, or Arizona.
There's a lot of. To me, the kid is a phenomenal player.
Right.
But there are a lot of red flags to me as far as his emotional immaturity. And you have to walk into a locker room of alpha males, the ultimate collection of alpha males in an NFL. You can't walk in there with that on your resume on my team. Sorry.
Ryan Leaf comes to mind, right? He wasn't emotionally mature enough.
Exactly. You have to be emotionally stable and mature.
Yeah.
And emotionally intelligent. If you're emotionally intelligent, you don't do that in front of the world. You want to do that underneath, underneath the stadium, wherever, fine. You need your comfort there, that's fine. But to me, no, it's not leadership. You're going to walk into a den of alpha males like that.
Yeah.
And NFL, and no, I'm telling you could say I'm not in touch with my feelings, and you're just an old head, JP, whatever. I'm sorry. That's not leadership. You got to be more emotionally tough than that. You got to be, in my opinion.
You just kind of wonder if he's leaving USC like that was his last game or something. That's the reason why he was so emotional. Even if it's that, is that acceptable to you? Because we saw the same thing happen with the player get emotional because his father passed away and he was talking to the coach and he was getting, but it wasn't to that point of where, they're covering up his head. I was just, wow, this is really dramatic at this point. I mean, I don't know what to think. I honestly don't.
I wouldn't draft him. I mean, if I had, if we're sitting there at 17 and he's still on the board, maybe at that point.
Of course you would draft him. Just like a lot of people would say, and I was putting this out there last year with Jalen Carter and his immaturity. He has to go to a locker room that's veteran laden. But if he's there, even with all the red flags, you would still take him because at the end of the day,
it would be hard. Honestly, I don't think he would be respected in the locker room. I just don't. And I don't know how he's going. And like you said, he's probably going to go to a bad team and you're going to face a lot of adversity.
Yeah.
And if you're not emotionally mature, and there's, the things you put on his knuckles, there's a lot of, there's a lot of different stuff that I just, again, there are 15 guys on the planet that can play quarterback in the NFL. It takes a lot more than just being able to throw the football and run around.
Okay.
So it is the most demanding position in sports, in my opinion. And it takes a really special person to be really good at it. And you have to have a lot of different qualities. And one of those main qualities is emotional intelligence. So I wanted to hit, before we get to Leo, I wanted to, when he's coming up real quick. So the Lightning yesterday jump out to a 4-0 lead, but this time they held on to the lead, which was much better than what we saw against Toronto. Much more better compete level. Obviously not the team, Montreal's not the team that Toronto is. But they gave an effort for the full 60. And how about Matt Tompkins getting his first win, 29 years old, had gone to ECHL, the Swedish league. He's been all over the world trying to get an NHL win. He finally gets it there. And, his heroes growing up are Patrick Waugh, and here he is in Montreal in the Bell Center getting his first win. That's just really cool stuff. And you could see the reaction by the team. They played really hard in front of him. He only faced, I think, 26 shots. He was really good in the first two periods. So he made some great saves. I thought he was fantastic last night. And to get his win like that, the Bolts get 5 points on the road trip. It's great stuff.
Yeah, it's great stuff, and it also shows Kucherov once again being aggressive. I feel like you should go to Vegas, JP, because you said, and Kucherov
50-goal
season. I mean, he's playing. I think he's playing more aggressive than he has the last couple years.
No, that shot last night's another perfect example. He wasn't shooting from those areas in years past, and now he's taking it right off the stick and he's letting it rip. And he's got such a fantastic shot. He's tied for the lead in scoring points. He's going to have a tremendous year. Already having a tremendous year. He's on a freaking mission, this dude. So I love it. And he can carry the bolts. All right, quick break, and then when we come back, Leo Haggerty's going to join us. We're going to talk some USF football. A near miss at Memphis. They scored 50 and they couldn't win. Speaking of crappy defenses, oh my God. We're brought to you by The Patio. We'll be there from 5 to 7 o'clock, won't we, Peter, on Friday?
Yes, we will be. Absolutely.
Yeah, your fan mic chair is waiting for you people. We've had a lot of fun with that. So Friday night, 5 to 7 o'clock, you want to vent on Todd Bowles? Come on down to The Patio. Have a few pops and start venting on Todd Bowles. We'll have a blast. Anybody you want to go off on, come on down. 5 to 7 o'clock, always great specials. We're presented by White Claw. $5 White Claw seltzers, $5 White Claw vodkas. So get your butt down to The Patio. Anytime is a great time to be at The Patio to watch the games under the stars and under the palm trees. 421 South McDill. Back in 3 with the great Leo Haggerty. Stay with us. Hey, the holidays are almost here, so take advantage of our layaway offer at the Gold and Diamond Source. Reserve your favorite piece now and pay in easy installments, making your holiday shopping stress-free. And engagement season is here as well, and we've got the largest selection of engagement rings, so visit us to find that perfect ring for that special moment. Looking for financing options? How big a ring can you get when we give you 3 to 5 years interest-free financing to make your dream jewelry more affordable? So this November, make sure you choose the Gold and Diamond Source for jewelry that's always stylish and unique, because your special someone deserves something to be thankful for, right? Find the perfect gift at the Gold and Diamond Source. Don't settle for factory-made imitations, folks. Make sure it's a Gold and Diamond Source diamond for a truly special piece of jewelry. It's the best folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source, 4800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA 2-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some good
work she did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
All right. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man Scott. He's done 3 loans loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595 or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Patio and the Jeeves Law Group. And now it is time for our USF report, brought to you by the great folks at American Mortgage Services. I love that. I love that fight song, that USF. I love any fight song. I'm a sucker for any fight song. What's up, Leo? How you doing, buddy?
Well, you know what, JP? I'm doing great because of you, and I'm going to jump off the USF bandwagon first. I texted you and said, hey, look, my insurance is jumping up. You told me, call Charity at Italiano Insurance. Folks, I'm going to tell you, make that phone call. She saved me, get this now, $7,000 a year on my insurance.
Wait, hold on a minute. First of all, why are you paying $7,000 a year?
Well, welcome to South Tampa, you know.
7,000. Oh, my God.
Welcome to South Tampa, you know.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, we went from we jumped from like $750 to $950 a month, and I called them and said, "What's going on?"
Good
And
God,
they said,
Leo.
well, yeah, everything went up. I said, "Folks, those cars don't move a couple days a week, you know."
Yeah.
So I got Charity on the phone. She sent me back, said, "Hey, here it is." I said, "Oh, thank you, JP, and thank you, Charity at Italiano." Folks, make that call.
There it is, 813-877-7799. They are the folks. I'm telling you, it happens all the time. I just call them up, and business insurance, they save somebody, I swear to God, $26,000 on his business insurance one time. $26,000.
And you know, I asked my daughter, her and my son-in-law, they own Belmar Saloon down there in El Prado and Manhattan.
Love that place.
And Peter's been there.
Yeah.
And she said, Italiano has the best reputation in Tampa, period. End of story.
Yeah, a great customer service. They're so nice over there. Like, I go over to the office all the time, just say hello, pick up a check, whatever. And they're all upstairs working, and they're answering the phone, and they're actually talking to customers nicely. And they're wonderful. I mean, wasn't Charity so sweet? She's such a sweet.
Oh, my God. I want to take her home. Wrap her up and take her home. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, think about, like, when's the last time you got customer service like that? Every time you get on the phone, first of all, they ain't speaking English. I mean, and I'm not trying to be, whatever, but if I can't understand you, you're not giving me good customer service.
No.
Pretty simple.
And
right?
I love that guy from India that came on and said, "Hey, my name is Jake." I said, "Your name is Jake? Come on, Abdul."
Jake from State Farm.
Yeah,
How could I help you?
yeah, exactly. Well,
anyway, I'm glad you got
USF.
Let's get to USF. Hell of a comeback. Continuingly, their defense gives up the booty, but the offense comes back and gets it right back. Was a hell of a game in Memphis. I mean, this is a growing, a growing process for USF. So at least from an offensive standpoint, a don't quit standpoint, that was a good showing.
Yeah, it was. And you know what? Take away the first 14 points where they get a fumble and intercept, but boom, they're down 14-0. And that is way too familiar a scenario. They've got to start better. But again, it was the tale of two cities. The offense, great. The defense, not so great. But you know what? They caught up. They got ahead 42-38 midway through the third quarter. So, yeah, it was just a matter. And here's the funny thing, guys. USF was 4 of 11 on third down. When Memphis got to third down, they had trouble converting. The problem was Memphis never got to third down. First and second down were huge plays. And here's the one stat that really jumps out at me. After Memphis receivers caught the football, 238 yards of yards after catch.
Wow.
That's brutal. You're not going to win too many games like that. That's Pac-12 defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's bad tackling is what that is. That's Buccaneers defense is what that is.
No, don't get me started on that. That was
But can we talk about Byron Brown for a second? 31 of 38, 357, 5 touchdowns, 23 carries, 100 yards. This kid is he's tremendous.
Yeah, and you know what, JP? Peter and I had this conversation, and this is what's scaring me. Remember Sam Mordecai, who played at SMU last year? Great quarterback, played really well.
Yeah.
Transferred to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
The reason why he did that is the NFL scouts said, we want to see you against better competition. That's what scares me about Byron Brown. Somebody's going to tell him, you got to start playing against better competition. I'll tell you what, I hope the kid plays his entire career at USF because he's going to be a great player. I haven't seen too many tougher than him at quarterback. He's not, he runs it 23 times. In fact, I asked Coach Golish after the game, I said, that's a lot. He goes, well, 10 of them were design runs. The other 13, he's just scrambling. And you know what? He's not sliding either, guys. He's taking a hit. And
yeah, you can't do that.
No, you got to give your body up because if not, you
can't survive.
Yeah, surrender to play another play. That's it. But
you're too important. You got to understand you're not doing your team any favors by taking the hits. In fact, you're hurting your team. And for young players, they've grown up through Pee Wee and everything else, and they've been told, you got to put your head down, you got to get the extra yard, you got to do it for the team. And when you get to college football, it's like no. No.
Yeah, you got
for the team. You got to slide.
Yeah, you got to get to the next play,
right.
And the next play means don't take a hit. And I'll tell you what, JP, you put up 50 points, you should win a football game. So yeah, the good news is, and the offense probably left 14 points on the field. They could have had a 60 burger. So yeah, it was one of those games. And I'm going to ask Coach Orlando, when I get off of this and talk to him this afternoon, did it just become like a tsunami that you couldn't just get off the field? Because that's what it was looking like. Just, it was a different guy every play. It wasn't the same guy. And that's got to drive you nuts as a defensive coordinator.
I'll tell you what, I asked Brown after the game about his game in general and also his chemistry with the wide receiving room here on the JP Peterson show. Here we go.
I wouldn't say so. I feel like I've had better games and they resulted in W's. And ultimately, that's what you're playing for. You don't really care about the stats. You want to play for the win. And I felt like I was seeing it out there and just getting my guys the ball and trying to make the right read at all times.
He's so humble, too. You got to love that. I mean, that's the thing with him, and he is so dangerous. I think that you would say, Leo, when they're driving and it's 45-42 Memphis, and it looks like they may score a touchdown, and even Coach Golish was upset about it because
terrible call. Terrible call.
How is that not called pass interference? You tackled the wide receiver. It gets intercepted. Of course, a lot of Bulls fans will say, well, that's, another turnover. You had a turnover in the first half. You had an interception. That interception should have been a pass interference. How is that not called?
The only way they could have saw this, and boy, I didn't see it this way, is that the pass was intercepted before the receiver was tackled. Now, and I know that didn't happen. But I just, how can you not? You can go back and review everything. Egregious misses. They got to go back and look at because that cost South Florida the game. They're going to go ahead now. Let's see if Memphis can answer. It's sad. But you know what, guys? I'm going to ask you this question. Can you tell me what pass interference is in the NFL or NCAA? I can't because it happens every play. They got to clean it up, and they got to clean it up quick.
Yeah, that's what and then you get a flag fest, right? It's just throwing flags on every play. I don't know how you fix that, but same thing plaguing the NFL. They're holding receivers on every play. So, Leo, when you look forward now for USF, it's all in front of them, right? They got Temple and Charlotte, right? Are both those games, one's at home, one's away, right?
No, both of them are at home. They got They got Texas, San Antonio on a Friday night sandwich between the both of them.
Okay.
So they got 3 left to go. Now, guys, the good news is this game ain't in Philly because Philly is the house of horrors for USF.
Yes,
they never won there.
Been.
Never won there. And it's always been bad weather, rain, snow, sleet. So they get Temple down there. They're 3-1 in Tampa because they're getting Temple. They're coming out of the cold and coming down into the heat. So, yeah, the funny thing is, guys, this is the 4th team in a row USF is going to play that's coming off a win. Temple lost 5 in a row. SMU beat them 55-0. And then they go and beat Navy. This is the 4th team in a row they're going to play that's coming off a win. And 2 of them are coming off bye weeks. So, yeah, this is not going to be an easy task for the Bulls. But I'll tell you what, if they can get that offense going in the first quarter, that's what's killing them. They just takes them a while to put the foot on the gas. If they can get that offense going, and here's the really strange thing. If I'd have told you after 9 games the best defensive game they'd have is Alabama and they're 4-5, that's really weird.
That's so weird. Yeah. But it shows you how bad those other Alabama quarterbacks are. Woo.
Oh, they were terrible.
They're really bad.
I'll tell you right now, if USF wins 2 out of 3, they're bowl eligible. Are they ahead of schedule? In your opinion, Leo?
Hell yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And again, they're not playing Central Florida. They're not playing Houston. They're not playing Cincinnati. But you know what? You can't take care of your schedule. Hey, when's the last time Alabama played Georgia in the regular season? I don't think I was born. So, you play who's there. If they can get to 6 wins,
huge.
That is a feather in their cap because, guys, we talked about this beginning of the year. If they win 4, that's a 400% improvement. They win 6. Think about what recruiting could be now. Hey, guys, we turned it around. 6 wins. You come in, that can go to 8, 9, maybe 10. So, yeah, that's huge for recruiting. And you know what? Coach Golish brought this up yesterday. When you go to a bowl game, it gives you 10 to 15 extra practices with your young guys.
Yep.
And he said, this is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
Yep.
And the NCAA should allow teams that don't go to a bowl game. Hey, you get 5 extra days in spring, 5 extra days in the fall. Because that's balance. They got to start. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and it's huge because when you're building a program, by definition, younger players who need to learn the system, those extra practices are like gold. And it's, it comes at a time of year when they're already in the system and it, accelerates the learning. It's not like a long drop off from spring where you got to reteach them for the first 5 days, right? It's just, these are invaluable practices. So yeah, it's critical. And that's why, San Antonio on the road, that's going to be a tough one. But this, these other 2 home games, they got to win. And it sure as hell would help if the fans showed up.
Oh God,
I don't expect, it's hard to ask, people to go to a game against USF Temple. Really? Hey, the weather's nice. It's a college football game, go out and have some fun, support your school, show up, get 30,000 in there and they'll win those games. And you got a bowl game and then, then you're off and running. The fans can complain all they want about the coaches and everything else. But if y'all don't show up and create an atmosphere in these last 2 games, then you got nothing to complain about. Nothing.
Nope. It's like people who complain about the government. Hey, did you vote? No. Well, if you don't vote, you get the government you deserve. If you don't show up to the games, you get the team you deserve. And that's all this team needs is a little bit of encouragement behind it because you can see look what happened with Alabama. 60,000 in there. Yeah, maybe 50,000 were Alabama fans, but so what? There were 60,000 people. That place was rocking. And South Florida's in the game 59 of the 60 minutes. I mean, the outcome was in doubt for that whole 59 minutes because that defense was flying. And that's the key. That they got to just, throw caution to the wind. Just make a play. Go crazy.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, a main reason for that is Byron Brown. I mean, if you want to see something, USF Bulls fans, your future, that's the guy you should watch right now because he's exciting. He can do it all. He can throw the ball from the pocket. He can run. I mean, that should be your main reason anyway. And you talk about recruiting. I think there are players around college football that are going to start paying attention to this young man and say, you know what? This guy, maybe we need to go play with him. As crazy as it sounds, his athleticism, the sky's the limit for this kid. And then on top of it, he's humble. So I don't get into the transfer portal at all. I don't.
Yeah, think about this, guys. What better atmosphere than bringing a kid from Wisconsin, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Montana to Tampa in December or January, right? He's going to walk around campus. He's going to see enough skirt to keep him happy for the rest of his life. He's going to see great weather. He's going to see a football program that's coming up. And
you know what else he's going to see? An empty stadium.
Oh, JP, don't get me started on that.
So listen, that's what I'm saying. That's why these 2 games are important. And USF needs to get the message out that these, I understand it's not, it's not a marquee matchup, but if you want Byron Brown to stick around, why would he stick around when there's going to be 50 coaches across America with full stadiums and NIL money knocking on his door with better competition, as you say?
Yeah.
That's going to be saying, hey, man, what are you doing down there? And is loyal. I know the kid is awesome and he's loyal, and the USF fans got mad at me when I put this on Twitter. Look, trust me, I'm not the only one saying it. These agents are going to be in his ear. Everybody's going to be in his ear. Keeping him here is going to be a mighty, mighty task. And the fans who will be pissed when he leaves are going to be the same people who didn't get off their ass on a beautiful Saturday in November and December and gone out to Raymond James Stadium where you could pick a ticket up for $5 and go watch him play and cheer him on. Those will be the same people that are bitching and moaning that he went somewhere else. Because why? Because NIL money, and he can play in front of a full stadium. Support him.
Yeah.
Go out there and appreciate this kid.
Yeah, because, and again, Peter and I had this conversation. I said, it was like an epiphany, as a Leo word. It just came to me that this kid's going to jump in the portal just to see if there's any interest. And, boy, I'll tell you what, the non-Power 5, which I guess is Power 4 now that the Pac-12 is like the Ottoman Empire, they're gone. I guess if you're a non-Power 5 school, you're basically the JV, and they're just looking around and saying, okay, hey, you're good.
Your feeder program, yeah.
Yeah, and they just get rated. They say, hey, jump in the portal, we'll take a look at you. And that's not right. They gotta start looking at some of that. So that's just crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
Leo, I got to ask you, because we've been talking about it today. What did you think of the display from Caleb Williams of emotion at the end of the Washington game? Is that a red flag for you as a scout?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's a kid that cares about winning.
Okay.
Kid that cares about playing well. Yeah. No. I want a guy who I can go to war with, who's not afraid of showing his emotion in that huddle. Because there's going to be times he's going to have to take his shoe off. JP, you know this. He's going to take his spike off and hit somebody in the helmet and say, shut the heck up.
Yeah, and he's going to go crying to his mommy. Leo, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm not with you on this one. You can't go doing that in front of everybody. Go crying to your mommy. I'm sorry. I can't.
Yeah, but it was after the game. The game
I don't care. I don't care. I don't go do it under the tunnel. Do it out of. I know I may sound old school and heartless and all this stuff, but if I'm going to be drafting a quarterback that's going to be walking into a locker room full of alpha males and they see Caleb Williams coming, trust me. Every NFL player and all these people that are on these shows are like, they're like, oh, it was such. I'm like, no. Come on, Leo. You don't believe that.
Here's the worst thing. I can't.
You just don't want your wife getting mad at you.
No, I can't disagree with you on that. That when he walks into that locker room, they go, "Here comes the crybaby." That's. I can't disagree with you on that. But you know what? That's
emotional. That's not emotional intelligence, man. You gotta. If you hurt inside, I'm sorry. As a leader, you can't show that. You don't have the luxury of showing emotion in the time of crisis. As a leader, guys are looking up to you. And if you're going boo-hooing to your mama in the stands, I mean, what are they? I mean, I'm sorry, man.
It's a sign of weakness, isn't it, JP?
Yes.
Yeah, whether we like it or not. Hey, it's nice that he's showing emotion, but hey, wrong time, wrong place. You're exactly right there.
Yeah,
so you're a scout and you're looking at this and you see some of the things that he's done on the field also, because he's had his difficulties. He didn't play well versus Notre Dame. I mean, he hasn't played that well.
You notice when times get tough.
Yeah, I mean, is that cause for pause, Leo, where you say, you know what, he has the athletic ability, but is he going to be a true franchise quarterback because he's going to be able to face adverse situations? Or is it a case of where he could possibly be a Ryan Leaf, somebody like that can't handle the emotional stuff?
Well, you know what, guys? And here's the thing. If you watch the Washington USC game, USC pulled out every trick play in the world to score points. All Washington did was hand it off to Johnson, and he ran it down their throat. Washington didn't do anything trick play or anything. Hey, they didn't hand it off to him. Penix threw a dime to somebody. There was so many trick plays. That's what bothers me about Caleb Williams. I don't know if he can just drop back in that pocket, 25, 30 times and just find a receiver and hit him.
Right.
Because there's just so much trickery going on with Lincoln Riley and his offense. And, great, fine, great. But as a scout, I got to balance out. And I still say Michael Penix is the best quarterback coming out.
I agree.
Because
100%.
Because when they got down, you showed no sign of panic in Michael Penix at all.
Yeah.
Period.
And he didn't go crying to his mommy.
Wait a second. Hold on. Put the nails in. I got the hands out. Go ahead. Put the nails in.
I swear, I think most people don't want to say it because they're like, your wife will get mad at you now that you agreed with me because you're like, oh, that was nice.
Hold on, let me check. No, she's nodding her head. She's saying, "Yeah, he's right. Shut up, Leo." I said, "Okay."
You got a good one there.
Yeah.
I know. I showed it to Ashley, my girlfriend. She's like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" No.
Well, I got called out yesterday by Coach Golish as being the old guy in the room. I don't know if you saw Peter. Did you see that at all?
What happened with that?
Yeah, I asked him about momentum and everything, and he goes, there's times in your life you're going to have people, their ups or downs. He goes, you lived longer than me. And I start giggling, and no one else is saying a word. And he goes, that was a joke. I said, I appreciate that, Coach.
Listen,
we're kind of stating the obvious here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the oldest guy in the room. I'm the oldest guy in the world out there.
Oh, my God. So funny. Yeah, you got the experience and the wisdom.
One last thing about USF. The women opened up Monday night. You have got to watch my questions of Jose Fernandez. He goes off the reservation. It is just
what
a
happened?
classic. Peter, what do you think?
I gotta definitely get the footage here because you always have some type of relationship with Coach Fernandez, and we've been in there before. We've had a good time.
Yeah,
he's the best.
He was not happy with the performance, let's say, and I could kind of figure it out. So I'm going to get that first question in, and I gave him the Pat Riley question. I'll play 10. I'm happy with 8, but I only trust 5. I said, Coach, do you got 5 you trust now, or is it a work in progress? He goes, man, I'm trying to find 7. If I find 7, those 6 on the bench are going to be cheerleaders. They're never going to see the floor. I go, okay, he's on a roll. So I go, that was a decent team over there in UT Arlington. He goes, we didn't defend. We didn't defend anybody. We can't defend. So I go, and I knew what was going to happen. I go, but you won. He goes, oh, yeah, it was a win. But that was totally not up to our standard. He goes, that was bullshit. I go, okay.
Now that's why he is the best coach on campus at USF, he and Ken Erickson. That's why those two guys, because you know what? They're old school, tough coaches, and they set a standard, and they do not let anybody chip away at it. This is the way we play. This is how we do it. And if you don't measure up, you don't measure up. We're not changing our standards for you. We're not lowering the standards for you. You either catch up or leave.
Yeah.
And nobody's brave enough to say that these days.
Well, yeah, Jose is, because he basically told him, hey, you can't defend. You're not going to play. Period.
Right.
And you know what, Peter, real quick. Yeah. We saw Coach Golish on the post game. Oh, yeah. And you could see he was just pissed. Smoke was coming out of his ears. Good. And I know what he wanted to say, but he couldn't say it. But yeah, it was crazy. He did a great job of controlling his emotion. But one of the press people asked him a question. I go, man, that's the wrong road to go down. Wrong road.
Is this what your defense is? Which you can't. Come on. You can't ask that question like that.
Why not?
Well, not that. That's a Tuesday. That's a Tuesday question. It's not a post game. Is that what your defense is?
That question now? Come on. You would not ask Coach Golish or Todd Bowles, hey, is this just what your defense is at this point?
After you give up a 59 burger, right? Yeah. Oh. Hey, one last thing, guys, before you get me off.
Yeah.
Can someone explain to me the roughing the passer call when the quarterback's running away from you in the Bucs game and runs over and grabs his leg? I mean,
can't touch him down low. That's the rule.
Yeah,
You can't touch him high.
Yeah, but that's when he's sitting in the pocket. When he starts running, what are you supposed to do? Just let him run?
That's the Brady rule. You can't hit him below the knees. That's the Brady rule. And that's supposed to be more of like when he's stepping into a throw,
right?
And you go to the knees. When the guy's running away from you, what the hell are you supposed to do? That's why I didn't crush Shaq on that play. It was a terrible. The outcome of the penalty was awful.
Right.
But you got an offensive tackle basically tackling you. The quarterback is getting out of your reach. You can reach down and grab something. What are you supposed to do? Reach down and go for his leg and then go, oops, can't do that and pull off? I mean, it's a ridiculous rule. But, you know, the ref is right there. And you could see it on his face, by the way. He's almost like, oh, my God, I got to call this.
Right.
He's like, he reaches for his flag. He's like, oh, Jesus, I have to call this stupid penalty because they told me to. And he throws the flag. You can see it on his face. He knows it's wrong.
Yeah.
He knows it's wrong.
Yeah. And you're right, JP. It was for when a quarterback's in the pocket stepping in. When he starts to escape, he's a running back now. You know, now
you should be able to tackle a guy by the lower extremities if he's running away from you. This is where the judgment call comes in. And this is what happens when you start trying to legislate stupid shit like this, because you can't in football. And that, you know, somebody gets hurt in a certain way and you're like, oh, we need to outlaw that. You can't. There's bodies flying around. You can't legislate. You know, I understand the crown of the helmet. I'll give you that. We can kind of get out of the game as much as we can. But these other things like, oh, you can't hit them, you know, up high. If the helmet brushes the other helmet, no. Because it's attached to your shoulder, for God's sakes, and people are moving at a high rate of speed. You have to be able to discern intention. Did Shaq Barrett intentionally try to hit him low in an injuring manner? No,
absolutely
no.
Not.
That should be the level of demarcation. But now it's just like, if it's low, you got to call the flag. No, he needs to be able to. Ref has to be able to look at every situation and go, was that more of an intentional? Could he have pulled off that in some way to not injure the player? And clearly in that situation, that's not the case. That's not what the rule was meant to do. But here we are.
Saying about it. Well, guys, hey, big game this. Hey, I think it's their first noon game of the season. 10 games in, and it's your first 12 o'clock game. So, yeah, big game. Come on out. USF Temple, big game. Peter and Ray Kennedy will be there. Doing a little post game up in the red corner, right, Peter?
Yes. I'll be on the 45-yard line, 23 rows up at Doe Campbell Stadium, my friend. So I will be.
Who they got this week?
A team called Miami coming up.
Miami. Yeah. Wide right.
Oh, not anymore, bro. Not anymore.
Don't say that, Leo.
45-3 has taken the place of wide right. We own their ass now, and we're going to own them again.
Let's hope so, because that's the only hope the ACC has of getting to the playoffs. And
I hope freaking Norvell has wide right and wide left and everything else on nonstop loop in that weight room and pisses them off. And so they come out nasty, wanted to take care of business, because this Miami team is not good. It's not good. We should wipe the freaking floor with them. And, you know, I hope it doesn't turn into one of those back and forth battles, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks, Leo.
What's fun about football? Hey,
brought to you by Italiano Insurance, who just saved Leo $7,000. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Take care. Talk to you next Wednesday.
$7,000. He has now become the new Italiano promo.
I'm telling you,
he's become the new Italiano promo. I'm going to send this to Jeff as a big thank you. He's the one who gave me those tickets on the 45-yard line. So
nice.
Yes, made my weekend. Oh, dude,
put that on there as an ad. I have to save $7,000 a year.
Yes,
paying for that.
Yeah. Oh, holy crap.
Yeah.
And that's what happens because you're with your companies, like, and what do? Even homeowners insurance, they tick it up every year, just a little bit. So if you're with them for 5 or 6 years, you're probably paying $1,000, $1,500 more than you need to pay. You go and shop it around. There's companies that are coming in at a lower rate because they want to get you on, and then start ticking your rates up every year, right? So they're always looking for new customers. They'll bring you in at a lower rate, and then they'll start ticking you up. But at that point, go to another one, right? Whatever. You're not bound to a long-term contract. Play the system, play the game. You don't have to do the work. Let them do the work. They'll go find that company for you. 813-877-7799. Play the game.
Beautiful.
Why pay the money?
I want to go back out to the comments here before we get out to a break. USF wouldn't be worrying about losing players had they had a clue with coaching decisions because they should be in a Power 5 like UCF was able to accomplish. Byron Brown wouldn't need to leave. James also goes on to say, Peter, if a Power 5 offers Byron Brown an opportunity to leave and NIL money galore, why stay? I think there is, and I understand where you're coming from, James. I get it. And a lot of people, you're kind of down on USF, as you should be. And I think there's a lot of fans and students right now where it's hard to go out to those games because of the last.
Do something about it. It's my whole point. You have a chance to do something about it. You fans that bitch and moan all the time.
Right.
Go grab 10 of your friends and tell them, God damn it, we're going to the game.
Cheap.
Yeah,
it's cheap. Like it's expensive. It's cheap.
It's cheap entertainment. It's college football, for God's sakes. You're gonna see your damn team score 50 points probably.
They're gonna at least score that, and then hopefully you don't give up over 50 points, and maybe you'll win a game. But to answer your question, I think there's some type of loyalty there because they allowed him to not only compete with Bohannon, who at the time was a big time transfer himself out of Baylor, but they gave him the job. They gave him the opportunity. I think he's loyal to that because there wasn't a lot of offers out there for this kid. So I do think there's some sense of loyalty the way he is, but everything changes. I get it. It's all about the money. It's all about getting the bag and the NIL and playing for this and playing for that. But
if I'm USF, I'm not, I thank him for the loyalty, but I also reward him for what he's bringing to school. And you get as much money as you possibly can in that young. It's just got to be a USF car dealer out there or real estate or healthcare or somebody who's making gobs and gobs of money. And you want to, this is where you spend it. Go make him your spokesman because he'll be the best spokesman you've ever had. The kid's phenomenal on and off the field. What better spokesman could you have? And then all USF fans will get behind your business because you're the one paying him the NIL.
Yeah.
So, it's a great opportunity here. Yeah. So get in front of it. And I hope they are. I'm sure they are. They're not stupid. I didn't come up with this idea. They know that, Michael Kelly, they know the nature of the beast out there right now. So take care of your business. But you fans need to show up because that support is what makes it. So, all right, let's hit a break. When we come back, Corey Long's going to join us at 11:30. We're going to talk some FSU Miami and Gator football as well. How long has Billy Napier got?
I don't know. I'll tell you right now, I think that seat's getting hot, as crazy as it sounds.
Yep.
It's a what have you done for me lately league.
We'll talk about that and much more. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you need to lose weight, get your testosterone right, get your immune system right, that's the place to go where they will give you personal attention, not 15 minutes in and out, write you a script like all these big companies do. Nope, they will take care of you as a personal human being with a personal plan for you. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Make them your new primary care physician. Back in 3.
Old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Golden Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back. We'll have a quick little segment here before we get to Corey Long. Peter, I just saw this is so funny. I retweeted it from our friend TJ Pittenger. This with FSU Miami game coming up this week. We'll be doing a lot of FSU Miami stuff with Corey Long coming up here. May have some other surprise guests this week, but he just retweeted this. On 3 Canes reporter Matt Shodell says Ja'Cory Brown, their backup quarterback, was asked to show some kids how to throw a ball into the net. Not only did he miss the net, he hit some 5-year-old kid in the face.
That's like some Peyton Manning stuff from Saturday Night Live, right? You remember that skit? Oh, God.
This is who some of Canes fans want to start against FSU.
There you go.
Oh, and TJ just retweeted the 4th and 14 at Doe Campbell from a couple of years ago. I'll have to repost that as well.
Nice.
Oh, it's Miami
we'll
week,
try
baby.
to get him on Friday at the patio. We'll try to get him on.
Who's that?
TJ Pittenger.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to try to get Russell up, some of my old FSU buddies too, to come on down and jump around the table, and maybe you got a couple of guys in there too. Yeah. That'll be fun, right? At the patio.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We'll get. All right, we'll see who I can rustle up. Is Corey on with us?
Corey is not on with us.
Okay, good. We'll take another break here and get him on. But I wanted to do an update on the Michigan thing. I don't know, but I've been looking during the break. I haven't seen anything on Michigan, so nothing's come down. A lot of people pointing out that Purdue basically did the same thing that Michigan has done, it seems like Michigan's in the crosshairs. And just to note that. Michigan's not the only team to do this, but I think to the level that they took it. And also there's this other FBI investigation that's going on with one of the other assistant coaches that they were hacking into other teams' databases and getting their plays and their playbooks through some computer espionage as well. So, there's much more to the story here. And, and I heard Boo Corrigan say again last night that the committee is not going to take any of this into consideration. And if I had my old buddy Boo on, I'd have to say, and I understand why. I see why they say that, and they say it publicly. But I gotta believe if they're trying to decide between an a one-loss Michigan team and a one-loss FSU team and a one-loss Washington team and a one-loss Oregon team, that with Michigan's non-conference schedule, number one, and the cheating allegations, I'm sorry, you're not getting in. And he doesn't want to say it publicly, but I think privately that would be the case, right? I would think.
You would think.
Yeah.
I would get in trouble for saying that because, Mom watches the show. She's a big Michigan fan.
I want to piss Mom off.
Yeah, she was like, well, you watch Michigan. You watch that win. Did you watch that win on Saturday night? I'm sitting here. I'm trying to do my USF stuff, and she's texting me off the chain. I'm like, why are you are you watching this Purdue game right now? Because they're just giving it to Purdue. Watch them. They're going undefeated. They're going to win a national championship. I'm like, all right, okay. They haven't played anybody. Oh, you don't give them any respect. But what they got? Penn State this week, and then a couple of weeks they have
Ohio
State. So, yeah, you can definitely get into some trouble.
There's a lot of games to be played. There's a lot of games to be played. So people are worried about FSU's resume and Michigan's resume. Let's let it all play out, and normally it takes care of itself. And a lot of these championship games will be de facto playoff games. So that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Oregon and Washington, that will probably be a de facto playoff game. Florida State, Louisville. If Louisville stays undefeated, they're going to be in the top 10, and FSU stays undefeated. Now, if Louisville wins that game, do they go? Doubtful. But FSU has to win that game to continue. I can tell you that. They can't lose to Louisville and make the playoff. No way. So in that sense, it's going to be a playoff game. The Big Ten playoff game is going to be, conference championships going to be meaningless unless Michigan loses or Ohio State loses. The SEC championship game is going to be a de facto playoff game. Whoever wins that game is in, no question. And I don't think whoever loses it, if Alabama loses it, they're definitely out. They have 2 losses. If Georgia loses it, it's going to depend on, if there's 4 undefeated teams and Georgia has 1 loss with their schedule, they're out. I'm sorry. They're out. And anybody who thinks that's bad, I'm sorry. Look at their schedule. It's a joke. They had chances to schedule people in non-conference. They chose not to. So sorry. They've got they do have LSU here. They've got Ole Miss,
right?
And they're going to have in the SEC championship game. So that's going to take care of itself. We'll find out if Georgia's any good. We'll find out.
And Louisville does have a loss. And he's correct about that. They do have a loss. Yeah,
Louisville wins that. I don't think they're necessarily in because they'll have that 1 loss.
Right.
So, but if FSU loses it, they're not in. If they lose to Louisville, they're out. That's it.
And I guess it comes down to also, with the FSU's positioning, you don't want to play Georgia your first because it's the lowest versus
in the playoff.
Right, in the playoff.
I don't care. That means not. Once you get to the final 4, you got to beat two good teams. Right. It doesn't matter whether you're 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed. I could care less. You got to have to beat 2 really good teams. So it doesn't matter.
Is there really a team out there that you think scares FSU? I mean, Georgia being
Louisville. I'm not sitting here saying Florida State's a world beater, bro. I'm not.
Right.
They've had some bad moments and they've had some close games that should have been close games.
True.
Frankly. But there's no dominant team this year. I don't think there's any dominant team this year. I think FSU is as good as anybody.
Yeah.
That being said, I think Alabama can lose another game. I think Georgia could lose another game. I think Michigan could lose. Ohio State, Washington, Oregon. I think they all could lose. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's got flaws. It's going to be survival of the fittest. I mean, the 12-team playoff this year would be spectacular. So anyway, Let's take a quick break. We got to get to Corey, so I don't want to keep him waiting. Quick break. We'll give him a call, and we'll get his expert opinion on all this stuff. Stay with us here on the JP Peterson Show.
The mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz, the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595 or go to scott@amstampa.com. Have any old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Gold and Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Gold and Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
Show on this hump day as we're talking college football. No one better to chat with, and we'll talk some Bolts as well, than the great Corey Long, who covers all of it. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Great, man. It's Wednesday. It's a beautiful day outside. I got golf this afternoon. I got Miami, Florida State. I got tickets on the 45-yard line this weekend, bro. Who's got it better than me?
You got it pretty well, man. You got it pretty well, assuming you're taking the lovely lady with you.
Yes, and my son.
And your son should be a fine weekend.
Two of my favorite people in the world next to you two guys. Yeah, no, I'm jacked up. Haven't been to a game yet this year. Haven't been to a college football game yet this year, which is just disgusting, quite frankly.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I feel horrible about it, but I'm going to make up for it in the latter. I've been saving my money for this championship run, Corey Long. I want to go to that semifinal game, and hopefully in New Orleans, where I have to wear a hazmat suit and a bulletproof vest. But I'll go.
No, I was in New Orleans. What was it? Right during when the hurricane hit here, because I had to stay there for an extra day. It was surprisingly mellow. Actually, last time I went there,
I was there for the FSU LSU game last year, and literally was happy to make it out alive and without herpes.
Yeah, that's LSU fans though. You ain't got to worry about that this time.
No,
now LSU fans are just, they're just ready.
I think the fans I'm worried about. It's the criminals running all over the disgusting smell of that city. My God.
Now that is true. It does not. Now New Orleans did not smell great, but I was there I had to stay for an extra day. I had to walk around and everywhere. It was fine. I stayed right on like St. Charles and something. It was fine. It was fine.
No offense, Corey.
You know what?
But they see me coming with my hot little girlfriend. It's one thing. They say you walking down the street, they ain't fucking with you. They ain't messing with you when they can come mess with me. Who we kidding here, brother? Of course, nobody's bothering you. I got guys walking by him, and this guy's going, "Yeah, I'm gonna put a baby in that woman." I mean, no joke. I'm like, what? What did he just say he was gonna put a baby in you? We need to walk faster, honey. We need to walk fast.
You know, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Don't you worry about it. You'll be fine.
Oh my God. Anyway,
Corey's bodyguard, by the way.
What's that?
Corey's your new bodyguard.
That's right. They need to go with you, is what I need to do.
That's what you need to do.
So is FSU? Everybody's worried about FSU's resume, and I said, listen, if they get one loss, you got nothing to worry about. They got no shot. Just win all your games.
Exactly. They got to win out. Period.
Right. It's in your hands. There's no top 5 team left on your schedule to derail you. If FSU doesn't make it to the playoff, they got nobody to blame but themselves. This is as golden an opportunity as they'll ever have. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. I don't think they would even be very valued amongst the one-loss teams. If you look at it, the committee's looking to push Oregon or Bama or Texas ahead of them. So it's like, you got to win. Like, you're sure. But as long as you win, you're fine, because Ohio State's going to play Michigan. So you're not worried about being dumped out if there's 5 undefeated teams. There's only going to be 4 maximum.
Right.
I don't think Washington's going to. I as much as I love Washington and I really hope they win out, I don't think they are, just because their schedule's still. There's just so much still.
Their defense is awful. Their defense is horrific.
Defense is awful. I just think it was. I think when you play the Heisman contender and the USC's offense is great. Now USC's defense is so bad, we forget how great their offense is.
Washington's ain't much better.
Amazing. But their defense is so. No, Washington's held teams that they've held teams. Like, they held Oregon. What was that, a 30 to 30 something game? Like, they were able to put stops together. Like, if Washington needs a stop, they can make a stop. Even the game against Arizona State, where they just struggled and couldn't do anything on offense, how'd they win that game? A pick 6 on their own goal line. Like, they can make plays on defense.
Okay.
I think defensively they're better than you think, but they play they play Utah this week, and Utah's not as offensively, they're not as tough of an offensive team as some of the other teams in the conference. They're a tough as hell team overall, but offensively they don't scare you as much as they do. It's just, I think, giving up 42 points to USC is okay because they could score 50. Like, it's one of those things to where you're playing a tremendous quarterback, you're playing a great offense. They're going to be, they know they have to score. So you've got to just score with them more than anything.
Corey, we talked at the beginning of the season. Are you buying FSU at this point? I get it, they're undefeated, but why or why not if you're not buying them, or if you are buying them?
I don't buy them as a championship team,
okay.
But do I buy them as a team that can make the playoffs? Sure. Do I think they're legitimately a good football team? Yes. This week was a weird week because it was, I looked at it and I said, they won the game. They had some injuries. It was a game that, Pitt's not good. Let's not think that they're even close to good. And they should they have won it by a few more points? Absolutely. But they did what they needed to do. They won. But I don't need people telling me, oh, well, they had 2 receivers out, they gained 500 yards. Pitt was 2-7. Like, Pitt got 60. Pitt gave up 58 points the week before to Notre Dame. I don't care. Like Ja'Kai Douglas is probably one of my favorite players on the team. Like, you didn't need Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson to beat this team badly.
No, you didn't.
But so I look at different things with the FSU. That was probably the worst game their offensive line played all season. I think they had 11 tackles for loss. Like,
yeah, it was bad.
It was just not a good game for them overall in that sense. They put up a lot of yards. They did get a lot. They do get a lot of explosive plays. I think they had 5 really big explosive plays that made up about half their yardage.
Which is typical for their offense, by the way.
Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't, and this time it wasn't Coleman or Wilson. It was Morlock with a big catch.
Which is good. You want to see different people making big plays, right?
Absolutely. Rod Steele had a long screen. Ja'Kai Douglas, who I really love. I've
he's
loved
a good player.
Douglas for a long time. I hate that he got kind of buried on the depth chart because they got new toys to play with. But I'm not sure if he's going to be there next year because I think he deserves this opportunity to play more, frankly.
Well, he will with Keon moving on and Johnny Wilson moving on.
But I couldn't guarantee that. But I'm glad he had a big game because he's been a hell of a team, hell of a he's been a great teammate over there. So I'm a really big Ja'Kai Douglas fan. So I buy them as a team that can make the tournament, but I worry about what's going to happen when they get there. But no, when you get there, you get there.
Yeah, who cares at that point? I think they got a puncher's chance against anybody. Nobody's great this year. I don't think anybody's phenomenal. So I think they can hang with anybody. All right, so I wanted to talk to you about Miami and Florida because the question is going around, especially Florida. How do you stick with Sunbelt Billy? Like at this point, because it has a lot of Willie Taggart to it in that his game management seems to be absolutely horrendous. You don't see them getting markedly better consistently. You just can't lose to Arkansas in that spot. You just can't. You can't. And the way they did it, the way they lost it was very Bowles-esque. Yeah, it's bad. But you look at that recruiting class and you're like, damn, that's why you brought him here. How do you get rid of a guy with a top 5 recruiting class?
And to his credit, I will say this. He made it pretty clear, I think, this week that there's going to be some reorganization, and he made it, evident there was going to be some soul searching. And a lot of that's going to be bringing in an offensive coordinator, taking some of the management off of his hands. I think he's probably taken on a little bit too much and more than he needs to at this stage. And I think just maybe a little bit of reorganization within how he deals with, because the issues that they have are not, they're not talent based. They're organizationally based. They're not putting 11 men out on the field at times. They're doing things, and that comes from communication. It comes from game. That comes from not having quality control people. So he's going to have to trust more people with more roles if he wants to be successful. He's definitely going to get another year. He might get another 2 years. So, but he's got to show that he can that he can mature as a coach. He's in that spot where a lot of young coaches are. I feel like Lincoln Riley's in the same spot. Some of these guys just have to mature as coaches because they're just not, because they're so used to doing everything themselves, or they're so megalomaniacal and want to do everything themselves. You got to trust other people. You got to find coaches,
good people,
trust them do their jobs.
If you take the play calling duties away from him, do you think he will improve as a coach? And I say that because also I kind of look at Todd Bowles in the same situation. He's already been asked about that. If you take away his playing calling duties, especially the defense, do you think his coaching prowess would improve? What do you think about Napier? And then go out to Bowles really quick.
I mean, I think in any situation, when a coach has an opportunity to look at the big picture, I think it works out better. They can kind of see what their coaches are doing. They can kind of chime in different areas. They can focus a little bit more. My feeling is it's hard to be head coach and offensive coordinator because you're just not focusing on every – because when the offense is on the field, you're calling plays. When the offense isn't on the field, you're dealing with the offense and trying to figure out some things, and more times than not. So you're not looking at the big picture. I try not to compare NFL coaching and college coaching. I think it's 100% different.
Yeah.
I think anytime that as a coach you can find more staff people around you that you can trust to do their jobs, you're better off. That's the best way I can say for Todd Bowles is just there's not a lot to say for him or that, or that defense after this past week. They got literally, they let CJ Stroud, I think, is going to be a hell of a player in this league.
Yeah, he is
so far. But was he supposed to be Dan Marino this past week? I don't think so. And he was. I mean, They basically like, all right, we're gonna dare CJ Stroud to beat us, and CJ Stroud's like, cool, I can do that.
Watch me.
Give me the defense, I can do that all day. This is the shit I was doing at Ohio State. So yeah.
All right. So what about Miami? Here they come, 6-3 with losses to at North Carolina, who's now lost a couple. 41-31. They weren't really that competitive in that second half in that game. The Georgia Tech game, not taking a knee is just, there's just no excuse. It's awful. But they they beat Clemson. They beat Virginia, struggled with Virginia, and they got beat badly last week at North Carolina State 20-6. So I don't know what to think of Miami. They're inconsistent. Their coach is a moron. It's just, he's obviously going to get the chance to turn this around and have a couple more years because he's a favorite son there. But
he's got a lot of money tied up.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. Where are you at with Miami?
I am with Miami this week was the first, believe it or not, outside of the kneeling, which was, really embarrassing. This was the first week I was really, I watched a good bit of that game. Later, not while the other good games were on, but later. But the next day. And I was a good bit disappointed in Mario because I thought he went away from what had been working for him, which was just winning games ugly. And I'm fine with winning ugly if you got to win ugly, but it's like you don't go away from that if that's what's working. So I think they had. They were 5-7 last year. I think they were in a situation where they had found an identity of we can play some slogs of games. Yeah. They've got a very good offensive line. It's young and it's really, there's some young pieces and it's just very good across the board, especially run blocking. And we can get games to the fourth quarter. And that's where we can really start. That's where us leaning on teams is going to pay off. And it had paid off for a few weeks. So Tyler Van Dyke is broken. The kid that threw for 380 against Texas A&M doesn't exist anymore. I think they're going to go with the freshman, which is probably gives them the best chance to win because I think he's pretty functional. And he's not going to do anything great, but he doesn't seem to make a lot of throws to lose games. And they're just gonna, I think this week they're gonna try to. They want to keep it ugly. They've got some good young pieces. Ruben Bain is an absolute stud on that defensive line. I mean, he is a monster. And they've got some good players on defense. Not great, but good players. And the thing is, those guys are young, like Wesley Basante, James Williams, older guys like Cameron Kitchens. So. They've got some experience out there. They got some experience and some young talent on the defense. Offensively, they're going to run the ball. They're going to try to run the ball. Mm-hmm. They're going to try to wear guys down. They're going to try to push them off the line. They're going to be motivated. I don't think they're not. Last year they were a completely destroyed, broken, injured team that had no chance. This year they're a little bit healthier and they're going to play hard. So. They're gonna. The good thing is it's gonna be a pretty big crowd and an energetic.
Oh yeah.
FSU's not gonna have to bring their own energy for the game, but this might be one of those games that test your patience a little bit. Things might not come to you as quickly as they did offensively in other games, and the good thing is I think FSU's been good with that. They've been good with. If they had to make adjustments at halftime on both sides of the ball, I think
their second half adjustments have been outstanding. What they did to LSU and every game this year, they've just pulled away in the second half. And part of that is they're so deep now on the defensive line, offensive line, and just all across the board that they're playing a lot of people in the first half. And I think it's helping them in the second half. It's like the old days.
Yeah. Like I think Miami is also, they're a class or two from being like, I think they'll be, they need a running back and they've got some running backs, but they need some, they don't have the type of running back that you're used to them having when they were really good. And that's something that Mario has to get is just a really, a good 20 carry a game type of guy.
Right.
but yeah, I think that their identity in winning games ugly was something that fit their team. I think it was perfect. I think it was actually the perfect formula for what they needed to do this year to get back into bowl eligibility and stay competitive and win a couple of games that look good, that'll look good on a resume. But can they? And that sort of ugly win style can travel on the road. You can win games ugly on the road too. But I don't think they've got man to man. I don't think they've got what it takes this week. So, that's the big thing. I just don't think they can match up talent to talent. But in terms of them maybe keeping the game interesting through 2.5 quarters, yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah. Well, I will be there and we shall see. All right. I'm not even gonna. Oh, I might. After you just abused me last week, when I was so apoplectic about Michigan having to vacate wins, which is exactly what should happen.
Talking about that huge deal. I don't know how Michigan beat mighty Purdue this past week without stealing all of their signs.
It turns out that Purdue was stealing signs the same way Michigan has been stealing signs.
Who did Purdue have scouting for them that made a big difference, apparently? Like I said, I'm disappointed Connor Stallions resigned because clearly he's the best in the business at what he does.
Well, he resigned so he could go work for Belichick, who clearly needs a little bit of help these days.
By the way, I wonder how much money he's getting through the back channels because he ain't gonna say nothing. I mean, that guy.
He didn't even show up at the hearing. He was like, "Yeah, I'm out. You guys got no subpoena power. You got no power over me. I'm not showing up for that shit. Are you kidding me?"
NCAA is like getting subpoenaed by your condo board. It's just there's no. You gotta go.
The HOA.
Exactly.
I just got a strongly worded letter from Jacob Labinowitz at the condo association, and he said I better show up.
They're like, I don't know why he's not here. He's home. I can see him. His light's on. His car's in the port. Yeah, I'm just not going. Forget you people. So whatever. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. You know what? And I like my old buddy Boo Corrigan saying with a straight face on the college football playoff when asked by Reese Davis for the 5th time if they're going to consider these cheating allegations, and he's like, "No, we're here to look at the resumes of the teams and decide who is the best 4 teams for the playoff." When he knows damn well if it comes down to somebody in Michigan, it ain't going to be Michigan. So
I don't think they're going to do anything. CFP.
Although the Michigan AD is on the college football playoff committee.
Well, I just don't think they're going to keep him. I mean, they're going to keep him out if they lose. So they're looking at they're
going to lose.
You better get all your tough guy beard and mustache game together and try to win. Try to win for once. But wait till you see the calls that Penn State gets this weekend. Wait till you see. They're not losing. They're not losing. They're not. Believe me, no one's helping James Franklin out. They'll wait.
That's
wait.
True.
That will beat them up.
Who are they going to screw? They're going to screw. They can't. There's no way they can throw enough flags to make Iowa beat Michigan in the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, I mean, once Iowa's point number in that game 2.
Oh my God.
They might get a safety because Michigan snaps a ball over a punter's head. Like, did you see it last week against Northwest? I mean, no, you didn't see. No one saw that.
No, I'm not watching. I refuse to watch that. I'm not watching that.
Me and you talked about my Iowa proposition.
Yes, exactly.
I'm gonna leave saying this one thing that I told my friend Lauren Pickle, and I'll tell this to USF fans: if you score 50 every week, you're bound to beat somebody.
Hopefully it's Charlotte and Temple. That's all you got to do to get to a bowl game. That's right.
All you need, then you get to the Cure Bowl, and that's where you want to be. So,
all right, Corey Long, who has been subpoenaed by Jason Labinowitz at the condo board, and will not show up at the hearing. Thank you, Corey. Appreciate it. At Corey Long on Twitter, CoreYLong. You can find him there. Thanks, buddy. Always fun.
Thank you, buddy. You take care.
Yeah, we didn't even have time to talk about the Bolts with him because that's too much fun. Yeah, I do want to get all Paul Feinbaum'd up about Michigan, And, what they did was against the rules, specifically against the rules. And Harbaugh now seems to be very intent on just understanding that the rules do not exist for him. So, and that's the part I don't like. Like, is it a huge advantage? No, people have been stealing signs for a long time. Is it an advantage? Yes, it is. Do other teams do it? Yes, they do. To the degree Michigan did, probably not. But the fact that, to me, it's the fact that he just thumbs his nose at the rules. And listen, you're not supposed to be able to get away with that, right? We're supposed to have everybody now, it's like you can be as corrupt as you want and nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. Steal as much money as you want. Rig things as much as you want. Doesn't matter. Nobody's going to say anything. Do whatever the hell. Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares anymore. The standards have been beaten to death and lowered so much. Nobody cares, right? And so it's like, well, why not? Why not? Why do I have to play? I need to win. We've lost to Ohio State 8 years in a row. And my job's my ass is on the line here. I got an $8 million contract. Why should I pay attention to rules? Nobody else is.
That's it. That's what it
comes to. Hard to argue.
Save your job or get fired.
You clearly don't have to pay your taxes. If you know the right people, right. You don't have to do that. You're not going to go to jail if you're of the right persuasion. You do whatever the hell you want. So there is no justice anymore. There's no right and wrong anymore. So what the hell? I might as well cheat my ass off.
That's it.
And evidently, they're not even any penalties for it.
Well, it could have been the whole conference. I mean, what about that? What about the whole conference knowing about, and I don't know who is calling. I guess telemarketers are calling me today because it says scam, scam, scam.
Yeah, my phone doesn't stop ringing for scam stuff. All right. Well, that was fun, Peter. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Pissed off some USF fans, I'm sure. Go to the game. Keep your quarterback in town. That's what you need to do. Our thanks to Corey Long and Leo Haggerty, who joined us today. If you missed anything, remember YouTube. Please subscribe there. Apple, Spotify, fanstreamsports.com. Watch us on Twitter, Facebook, and please like and share as many times as you can. Tell everybody this is the place. 2.5 hours, and probably 2.5 hours, 2 hours every day of Tampa Bay centric sports. And we'll be at the patio. Peter and I will be 5 to 7 o'clock on Friday evening. Come by and join us as we get set to preview that big FSU Miami game. If you're a Hurricane, come on down. If you're a Noel, come on down, and we'll debate it. We'll have some fun. Thanks, Peter. Good job.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. See you on Friday.
See you tomorrow, folks.